Hey, what's good, Mob Psycho gang? Welcome back. Hope you all having a really good day so far. It is very, very early here. Don't have a lot of time to film today, so I'm chugging me coffee here. But season 3 is giving me the motivation to push through. We are getting into episode 1 of season 3 today. I have high hopes for season 3. I am curious where it's going to go. I feel like it's going to be very different than the other 2 seasons with the Claw organization being defeated. I'm wondering if it's where the plot line is going to develop, because I have a feeling it's going to shift away from psychic powers a bit more and more, unless there's another antagonist that kind of comes into play for the psychic powers. But I'm curious about Mob's character especially, but I think his story is the most straightforward at this point, right? Like, he still needs to express his crush, to express his love to his crush. But for other side characters like Reagan and Dimple and all these other characters, what kind of development are they going to get? So I have heard various things about season 3. I've heard from some people that it's their least favorite one. I've heard from others that it's the best one of them all. But overall, I've heard that it ends really well. So you guys know how animes, I don't know why it's animes, but I mean, it's stories in general. There's a lot of shows or movies out there, but they just botch the ending so bad. I'm a big Attack on Titan fan. I'm sure y'all noticed the poster back there, but there's so many people who hated the end of Attack on Titan. I thought it was fine. I mean, I didn't think it was amazing or anything, but I feel like it's very difficult to just have a slam dunk ending, especially even if the rest of the show is amazing, it's just hard to wrap it up in ways. So we'll see how Mob does it in season 3 here. But yeah, I have my hopes up for it. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get into this reaction. Same opening. Have they played the same opening in each of the first episodes of each season? Yo, I recognize some of these characters now. Not all of them, though. Oh man, new intro. I always have high hopes for Mob intros at this point too. I feel like they're always so good. Ooh, a little dark and gritty over here.
進路希望？
なんだお前、まだ書いてなかったのか？
全然思いつかなくて。
Gotta think about your future. That ain't realistic.
普通にサラリーマンって書いたぜ。
Plain old office work.
そうだよね。でもみんなちゃんと考えてるんですね。
ちなみに高根さんはゆずこしょう高校を受けるらしいぞ。
ゆず高って
The Yuzu High.
偏差値65以上は必要っていう県立トップ3に入る進学校だ。
Gotta test into it.
さすが私たちとは頭の出来が違うわね。
Wonder why y'all just playing video games all day.
ゆず高ってイギリスの高校と提携してるから留学もできるんだって。
Damn, she's number 4.
楽しそう。
I still think it's hilarious how Mob doesn't see the other girls, like they just have vegetables as heads. He's so in love.
こういうの書かされたな。ま、お前は良かったな。将来の働き口が確保できてて。
はい。
ここだよ、ここ。転職だろ、お前の。
いや、これアルバイトじゃないですか。
Yeah, you gonna fire him full time?
将来的には正社員を数名構えた立派な事務所になる可能性もある。
レーゲン師匠って中学の時からこの相談所をやろうと思ってたんですか？
は？なわけないだろう。どんな中学生だよ、それ。
なんでやろうと思ったんですか？
なんでってそりゃあれだ。ある時自分には稀有って気づいたんだが、ちょうどその時の仕事もだいたい極めちまっててな。
仕事も極めて自分で事務所も開いて、やっぱり師匠はすごいですね。
なあな。
Oh my god.
ました。おう。
Yay, let's go.
いちいち全部の報告
Serizawa.
しなくていいからな。はい。
God, he looks so freaking different with his hair shape.
正式採用されたからといっても お前はまだほやほやのルーキーだ。俺の客対応をよーく見てノウハウを学ぶんだぞ。
旅先の古物商で見つけた置物です。思い返せばこれを手にした時から嫌なことばかり起きてる気がして、霊視していただけますか。
Man, why are people buying just sketchy ass shit, bro? Like, I would never get something like that.
ちなみにいくらで購入されました？
8万円です。
Yeah.
どうしたモブ？
その置物それ以上触らない方がいいですよ。
は？
怨念っていうのかな。いろいろ嫌なものが渦巻いてますけど、多分このままにしておくと結構危ないと思います。
I like that. Change the perspective on it.
一旦上のカフェでお待ちいただけますか？
はい。
Yo, they got a cafe upstairs?
で、芹沢、お前はどうだ？
俺ですか？俺から見てもかなり凶悪な呪われた置物にしか見えないですけど。
芹沢よ、なぜそれを言わずにぼーっと見てた？もし俺が本気で呪いに気づいていなかったら
If I actually didn't notice the curse.
お前が俺
I mean,
の
if
街
Mob
に
was
気づ
there.
くかどうかテストしてたんだよ。
じゃあ俺は
まあルーキーだからここは
God, Reagan, dude. Okay.
やりました。
どうだモブ？
芹沢さんの力強いですよ。
Aw.
よし、よくやったぞ。
I like how Mob's proud of him. He was smiling and everything.
さっきの衝撃で
俺のせいで8万円の置物が。
安心しろ。俺が何とかする。
Tuna and made it. Is that gonna be like glue? Oh my fucking god,
米
dude.
粒の潜在能力を最大まで解放する霊言
They're very scared. The true potential.
この瞬間芹沢は霊言の底知れない実力に感動し
どうしたの資源？
I'll never get tired of Reagan, dude. He's too funny.
進路希望を提出しないといけないんだけど悩んでるんだ。
まだ大学卒業まで10年近くあるんだから、とりあえずサラリーマンでいいんじゃないのか？
やりたいことが見つからないなら得意なことが活かせる仕事を探すのもいいんじゃないかな。
That's
兄さんの場合
better. That's better advice for sure. A magician.
安直。
I feel like career path surveys that early on are not very helpful. I mean, it's okay to think about, I guess, but should it be a big deal?
後でどんだけでも変わるんだからよ。
And it's going to, no doubt.
将来のことだもん。
There's very few people who like really know what they want to do that early on.
エクボは将来どうするの？
悪霊に将来を聞くのかナチュラルに容赦ねえなあ待てよ俺様にも確か何かそうだ忘れてたぜ
まあそうだろうなとは思ってたけど、その表情を見ると間違いないみたいね。
目里さん。
Misato is a pain in my butt, dude. I dislike her strongly.
天才に乗じた町嵐だと思っているようだけど、きっと裏では世界の存亡をかけた戦いが繰り広げられていた。モブ君が悪の軍団をやっつけたけど
Picture him up, bro.
てなところでしょ。
いやまあ進路どうしよう。
嘘でしょ。見なさいよ、あれを。一部では真珠って呼ばれ始めてる。神聖視されてるってこと。
Jesus
守るべ
Christ.
きよ。真珠を生み出したのは自分ですって。
目里さんは将来決めてる？
何を？
Of course she does. She wants to be a
私は
journalist.
カメラマンかな。ジャーナリストよ。そんな感じ。
Yeah, she's probably one of the rare few that would know.
目里さんの人生もっともっと大きな出来事はあるよ。いくらでも。
いや、あれはなかなか。
Yeah.
言葉の派手さとか見た目の大きさとかじゃないよ。
例えば？
僕だったら肉体改造部に入部したこととか。
どこ こが大きな出来事よ。
目里さんの言うことだって変わらないよ。だってあれブロッコリーだし。
そっか、ブロッコリーか。
ブロッコリーや
納。得できるわけないでしょ。じゃあモブ君は将来どうすんの？
いや、何も浮かばなくて。
私は間違いなく悪霊に取りつかれています。
私が思うに確実にいると思われます。
やはりあなたに依頼してよかった。
Yeah, pretty creepy.
ちなみに具体的にどのような原因でそう思われたのでしょうか。
This guy's looking rough,
肩が
bro.
重いのと金縛りに合います。歯磨きしているのに虫歯になったのも機械だ。おそらくバイトをクビになったのも悪霊のせいだ。女性職員の尻など撫でていないのに言いがかりで浜に手の甲をかすめるだけだったのに、悪霊のせいで恋人にも逃げられました。
I have a feeling this guy's just projecting against people.
金欠だと言ったら態度が急変してまるで悪霊だ。私のことタイプだと言っていたはずなのに。ああ、異常に抜け毛が増えたのもありますね。まるで誰かに虫。
It's a nice shiny bald head.
ところでこのゴミの山は
ゴミじゃない、私の財産だ。
Some legacy,
バリア
bro.
のようなものですね。囲まれてると安心して眠れるんです。
この写真は
昔の写真ですね。やんちゃしてた頃の。
もともと。お前らお客の話を聞いててくれ。俺は強力なお払いと。
He's literally disgusted by him. Damn. That was some sleek animation for a SIG, bro.
悪霊を退治できないとしたらもう人生おしまいなのでしょうか。親とは20代で死に別れ、親戚には絶縁され、人脈もなければ手に職もない。
This guy's a deadbeat, bro.
もう終わっているのか。
その気持ちよくわかります、俺もずっと同じ部屋にいた時、
僕ももしずっと進路が決まらなかったらどうなっちゃうんだろうって思います。
50年もあったのに残ったものは親がくれたこの家だけ。私が手にしたものは何もない。ずっと流されるまま楽。
Yeah, I love the ambiance of this, dude. They did a great job with this.
人間一度間違えると人生終わるもんだな。
Interesting. So is he like making a spirit himself? Dude, this is wild.
おいおいおい、ゴミ屋敷の方か。ダブル水素水ミスト。
Oh man, Reagan's popping off this episode, bro.
悪霊の悪霊のために。
おいお前ら何やってる。
あ、師匠、帰ってたんですか？
帰ってたんですかじゃねえ。見ろ、悪霊が出てきちゃってんだよ。
あ、本当だ。
あれ多分この人の生き量だと思います。
お前ら頼むぞ。
See them work together. Literally blow all of the junk out of his life. It's a very interesting episode.
この部屋こんなに広かったのか。
Yeah, look how much lighter it
あり
looks.
がとうございました。おかげでこれからの人生、前を向いて
Oh, Your Highness, I'm sure it's not that noticeable. Bald!
しかし屋根が大変なことになってしまって。
ああ、まあ親が保険に入ってくれてたんで大丈夫です。
やはり頼りになるのは保険ですね。
Weekly Shonen.
どうした芹沢、気持ち悪いのか？
他人事だとは思えない。
Yeah, he can definitely
俺
relate.
も同じです。30年も生きてきて何も持ってない。
人生まだ折り返してもいねえだろう。
True.
これまでを後悔してるなら早めに気づけてラッキーじゃねえか。なあ、マブ。
僕も今は他人事に聞こえない。
お前も？
僕はたまたま大きな失敗をまだしていないだけで、いつかその瞬間が訪れるかも。想像すると自分の道を選ぶのが怖くなりますよ。
ああ、ちょうど進路決めの季節だ。
Dude, this is like it's close to home for me too, to be honest. I think about this crap all the time.
とりあえずの高校進学か。
結局何も浮かばなかった。
ただまあ将来的な目標を持っていた方が人生設計も立てやすい。焦る必要はないが、10代のうちに何か見つけないと苦労するかもな。
いろいろ考えたんですけど、僕の将来の進路希望は霊とか相談所じゃないと思う。
No.
そうか。
ここは居心地がいいし、霊源師匠に何でも相談できるけど、それが当たり前になると、僕はこのまま年齢だけが大人になってしまう気がするんです。将来ここに就職する約束はできません。
It's responsible, Mom. Good shit. Good shit,
マ
Mom.
ブよ、あんなの冗談に決まってんだろ。これからやりたいことなんていくらでも見つかる。この前聞いたよな。なんでこの相談所開いたかって。あん時はああ言ったが、本当はな、前の会社に飽きて、ただの思いつきでこの相談所を始めたんだ。
Took a plunge.
1年くらいで飽きてやめようかと思ってたんだけどな。ちょうどその時
That mob came into his life.
ま、紆余曲折あって現在に至るってわけだ。最初は単なる思いつきだったけど、今はやりたいことになったって言っても嘘じゃねえな。
Damn, dude, this show makes me so
や
happy.
りたいことなんて別に仕事じゃなくたっていいし、お前はお前の好きなように生きればいいんだ。
霊源師匠ありがとうございました。
え、まだ営業終わってないのに戻ってくるのか？
He ain't come back ever. Season over. Are they still looking at this damn broccoli? What's Dimple up to, eh?
来たか。俺様の時代。
Dimple, don't you start trying to... If Dimple starts trying to be a bad guy again, I'm gonna be so pissed, bro. All right, y'all, let's get in the review section for this episode. Very intriguing in the themes of this episode and the struggles that our different characters are having here. This episode really felt like it was centered around how to forecast one's future and take control of your life around the unknowns of life that inherently come with being a human and trying to figure out what you want to do in this world and in this society and the culture you live in and the difficulties that come with that. We see that with Mob and him trying to select a career path at a young age in middle school where, honestly, I said in the review, but most people don't have any clue what they want to do at that age. Just so y'all know, I'm 29. I don't know what I want to do with the rest of my life, career-wise, or even just in life in general, what's going to fill my cup the most. And it is something that gives me anxiety when I think about the direction that my life is going. But I remember, back in middle school doing something very similar to this, taking some kind of survey or personality quiz, and it gives you recommendation based off of your interests and the kind of person you are. And I think those things are helpful to start thinking about it, but it's also one of those things where we put a lot of pressure on people to know what they want to do, and it can be overwhelming if you don't know what you want to do. And Mob is a good example of that. Is somebody who doesn't know what he wants to do with the rest of his life yet. But you contrast it against people like Misato, who obviously is very aligned with a hobby that she has, which is like taking pictures and journalism. So, she kind of already has a future, at least career-wise, that lines up with her values and her hobbies, right? And you see that in the world around you when you're growing up. There's some people who just are like natural athletes, and what they're good at is what they love, and you can just see the futures lined up for them. Maybe there's somebody who just really wants to help people and wants to be like a firefighter or whatever it might be. But everyone knew those people around you back in like middle school and high school who you could kind of just see the path laid out for them because it aligned well for them. But for most of us, it's something that we don't really have much of a clue on, and it's more so just like we take the influences around us, whether it's these little surveys or what our parents do or what our family does or our friends do. We kind of follow those paths a lot because we don't really know at the end of the day, because we don't know ourselves fully yet. But this episode's really interesting because it kind of poses the question for the audience of like, okay, well, what do you do if you don't know? And on one hand, you see Mob inquiring with people and asking them what they want to do, and kind of trying, seeking advice from Reagan, from the Body Improvement Club, from Misato. He's asking a lot of questions. He's curious about how other people are figuring it out and seeing the different perspectives. And so he's trying to take control in a lot of ways, trying to, make the right decision. And you can see it's making him anxious. It's definitely not a pleasant process for him. But then on the flip side, we get this contrasted with the client that is in his house, and it's filled with garbage, and he's just living a terrible life. I guess he's around 50 years old, and a lot of bad things have happened to him recently with losing his job and losing his girlfriend, all these things. But you can see that this guy is filled with self-pity, absolutely filled with self-pity, makes excuses about everything. He's just trying to blame it on an evil spirit, and he's not really taking any accountability for his life. He's always said that he's followed the comfortable thing to do because he hasn't really ever known what he wants to do, and that's led to so much complacency. He's complacent, and he projects his problems into the world. Like literally, he projects this big spirit into the world about his apathy, right? You hear what the spirit's saying. He's like, go to bed, it's not worth it, I'm tired, I'll do it tomorrow, making these excuses for not doing what you should do, kind of thing. So you could see from like an audience perspective that not taking control of your life and just kind of going with the flow and the comfort zone isn't really the solution to this. You see where you'll end up, like this guy who is really just kind of a maggot in this world. Like he really isn't taking any kind of steps forward to try to improve himself. And it's actually really interesting because when they do get rid of the spirit and it cleans out his whole house, we get this really good image of how light and happy the room feels at that point, right? You can feel the difference in the atmosphere and for the characters. And this guy thanks them and everything, but the really interesting part is he ends up picking up a pile of mango, right? And I think, to me at least, I kind of interpret that as, okay, well, Mob and all of them helped him out to kind of clean out his baggage here, to maybe give him a life forward at 50 years old to start doing something that he wants or challenging himself. But he automatically picks up the thing of comfort. He's not really changing at the end of the day, so he's probably going to end up in a very familiar situation that he was just in. So if you don't know what you want to do, just filling your life with comforts isn't the answer. But yeah, this episode and the kind of this narrative really hit home for me because I was definitely in a similar situation to Mob back when I was in middle school. I didn't really know what I wanted to do long term. I was filling out these career paths, and all these things. Like a lot of people in middle school and high school, I didn't really know. And that kind of fed into going into college. Like I didn't really know what major I wanted to choose. Because once you go to college, it's kind of like, you're kind of investing in a future for yourself. You need to know what you're interested in. But, that's a problem with the education system to a degree, because I don't think a lot of people really know what they want to do in life until they're a bit older. And even then, there's things that change. So it's difficult when you have to make a big investment, or your parents are pushing you to make a big investment in college, but you don't really know what you want to do. And for me, at least, I got kind of lucky because, I always knew I was interested in computers because I liked video games, and I wasn't really like a programmer or anything like that. I didn't have like a natural interest in networking and all these things. I never really thought about that, but I knew I was interested in the technology at least. So I chose a technology major, and luckily that was a decent fit for me. I did okay with it, and I'm in the technology sector now for work, and it's pretty fulfilling. I work on a job with really great people and on important work, and it's filled my cup a lot. But I've gotten lucky. It's not like I controlled my future and was like, okay, I'm going to do this. This is my aspiration and all these things. And, it's still something I think about this day is like, what do I really want to do with my life in the future? It's always a question that's in my mind. And I really like the image of Mob, where he has so many different pathways, and he's saying that he's afraid to make a mistake and what that'll do to his life. And I feel that all the time, like I'm always projecting into the future of like what I should be doing next, and really vacillating over not making a mistake, or, not succumbing to the comfort zone like that client did. And, it really is a difficult thing to balance as a human being. But to me, I think the answer, and I think this is kind of where the author is getting to in this episode, is that you don't really need to know. You don't have to know. It's great if you do know, and you should follow it and work hard for it. But it's okay if you don't know. The biggest thing is to not succumb to that, unknown, that the unknown of the future, right? And to just follow what's in front of you for following the least path of resistance, because that's usually it's gonna keep you stagnant, right? So you at least need to be able to push yourself to keep learning and moving forward, and keep trying to find what's passionate for you, or what makes you feel passionate in life. But on the flip side, you also need to be willing to make mistakes, and there's always opportunity to change along the way. So, to me, it's kind of like you kind of have to take some inherent risk, or else you're going to get stuck. And if you do take an inherent risk and you mess up or something bad happens, you at least are still moving forward, and you'll learn from that and keep moving forward in life, right? I think the worst thing you can do is to settle into the comfort zone and then eventually get to a point in your 50s like our client here, or like Serizawa, and you kind of have that midlife crisis to a degree, and realize how like little you've accomplished in life, and just have followed the comforts of life and gotten stuck. It's better to take risks and to learn from your mistakes than it is to stay complacent. And I think this is really stressed well by the author when they talk about Reagan. Mob asked Reagan initially about, why he opened a Spirit consultation office, and Reagan kind of downplays it, saying that he accomplished everything he could at his old job, and, he wanted a new challenge. But in reality, at the end, when he tells him the truth, it's like, I was just bored, and I did this on a whim. I opened it and I thought I would get bored here, but then life kind of aligned and I found you, right? He doesn't say that to Mob, but Mob is really what filled his cup when he opened the Spirit consultation office. I feel like Reagan might have a good career path as a counselor or like a life coach or something. Like that's actually what he's doing at the end of the day that's filling his cup so much. But it's a good example of how he took a risk here. He didn't know if he was going to do it. And to be honest, he thought he'd probably get bored, but it ended up turning into something where he learned a lot about what's filling his cup now. And that's, helping Mob and Serizawa probably. And I really like how the author put that in with Reagan's character, because I think it's a good representation of how you should probably take control of what you can and not settle into apathy or boredom, and to keep moving forward and keep, once you are moving forward, life will eventually align with you to find what fills your cup, what brings you purpose, and how you can express yourself and bring your passion into the world in healthy ways for yourself and people around you. All right, let's move forward to the character ratings. For MVP, I'm going to give it to Reagan pretty much for what I just said. I think that him speaking his truth here was important. for Mob and Shirizawa. I think he was really supportive to them in this episode in general and challenged them in good ways. But also at the end when he just expressed the truth of the nature of how he got into this business. And, I think that really kind of stopped Mob from vacillating over the future as much, right? Like just taking control over this present moment and challenging yourself in this present moment will help you get to where you need to be. I just really like how Reigen's character is a good example of that overall. For the best moment, I really liked the interaction with the client, with all the junk in his room, and how that junk really represented the barrier to him seeing his life for what it is, seeing how the comfort zone has really made him stagnate in life and resulted in a lot of bad things. He hasn't taken any control. He's filled with self-pity and excuses, his apathy, like so many strong emotions and themes in just that scene alone. And I liked how all his negativity was feeding into the spirit of apathy, right? Like that spirit to me is that's like depression and apathy right there. And that just consumes you even more and makes you even more disconnected from life, and disconnected from you having autonomy over your life. I just thought it was like a really strong representation of the themes in this episode, and it was really, really well done. Lastly, for the funniest moment, a lot of good moments in this one for humor. But one part I really liked that I just thought was pretty witty was the cursed little statue thing that guy bought, and Reigen asked him how much he bought it for, and he was looking at it, said 500 yen, and the guy's like 80,000. They're all like, yikes. You got played, bro. All right, y'all, I think I'll do for this reaction review. Let me know what y'all thought about this one in the comments down below. Consider dropping a like, consider subscribing if y'all want to follow for more. But either way, I appreciate y'all being here to watch the Mob with me. I'll catch y'all for the next episode. Peace.